Okay guys, this is actually a very important video for anybody that is playing global right now, because if you plan to use auto battle at any point in the future, you have to know that right now it is not the greatest on global, because the way it works on global is it's going to just choose the highest attack skill for every character. So like Yaga, who is a buffer character, he will never ever use his buff to buff your other characters. Gojo will never buff himself. He will just continuously do his highest damage skill whenever you do auto, so it makes auto clearing take a little bit longer right now on global. But however, on JP they have already fixed this issue, okay? And so like this is the team you would want to run for auto in the future of global when they update this, right? Because this is how it works on JP right now. You actually running buff characters on JP allows them to do their buffs if you have your skill priority invested in correctly. So I'll show you guys the JP account that I have and how auto works on there, and then I'm also going to show you how global auto works here so you guys can see the difference. But the point of this video is to say that you guys need to be careful with how you invest in character skills, because if you just waste all your investment and, like, for example, this type of team right here, say you're like, I need as much damage as possible, so I'm going to run Itadori, Nobara, and Gojo. Well, you're not going to need all of these characters in the future, so it's actually better right now on global if instead of wasting investment on a character like Itadori, who's not bad, but I'd say he's like the third best, damage dealer in the game, instead of wasting investment on him, you should be using that investment on these other support characters who are going to be able to buff the crap out of Gojo and allow Gojo to go crazy in events where you want to auto them. So an example of an event that is going on right now in global, if you take a look at the Horizon event and you go to fight the spider, and you fight the spider, and you will see that it actually just picks the highest damaging skill. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like here on global, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on JP when we take on an enemy. So for global character wise, this is probably one of the better teams that you can run, because like I said, it's just going to pick the highest damaging skill for these characters and use it. So actually having Yaga there isn't terrible, because his skill 3 can still increase the amount of damage the enemy's taken. That's why I kept Yaga here. But then I have 3 damage dealers behind him to do as much damage as possible. That's what's going to allow you to get as much damage in as possible when you guys are doing these auto clears, because honestly it takes forever to sit here and manually clear very hard or the special difficulty. So this is going to be your best way to get damage. If you are running buffers right now on global and like 1 damage dealer, it's going to take you so much longer to actually get through these game modes. However, that is not the case on JP, so just keep that in mind when you're investing in characters. It is going to change in the future. I will show you guys what the JP looks like now as we get into it, but I just want you guys to notice that like as soon as skills come up, they use them, right? So the highest damage skill they're going to use, like Gojo's going to use his highest damage skill right now, no waiting. That's just the way the AI is programmed for global right now. I don't know why they couldn't update this on global launch, but hey, it is what it is. Alright, so here we are on JP. I'm going to let this play on auto, but I just want to point this out really quickly. Skill priority is a big thing, so if we go in and look at Yaga's skills, you'll see his skill 1 is at level 1 out of 10. His skill 2 is at level 7 out of 10, his skill 3 is at level 4 out of 10, and his ultimate is at 1 out of 10. So that will affect which skill gets used, because this skill is going to be the strongest. It's 7 out of 10, so it should be the one getting used more often than others on this particular team. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop into this. Okay, so I am just going to set this to auto, and if you watch, it should pick skill 2 for Yaga on JP, whereas on global it'd be picking skill 3 right here. So automatically pick skill 2 right there, right? It did the buff skill. So this is the future of JJK Global. It's just not in the game yet for whatever reason. I don't know why. But please, please, please keep this in mind when you're investing in skills and characters, that if you want to be able to auto things later and auto them easily and efficiently, you need to invest in characters the right way. Because honestly, I don't know. I just really can't explain why they have done what they did, but it is what it is. So with that in mind, I want to show you guys the skill list for priority, what skills you want to upgrade first and what skills you want to upgrade last, and hopefully that will help you guys out in the future of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, because once you've upgraded a skill, it is a bit rough because there's no going back. Okay, so what you guys are looking at is a skill upgrade priority list for auto battling for the future of global whenever they make the update to make the AI a little bit smarter so they don't just pick the highest damage skills, okay? So this is how you want to upgrade your character skill. So for Itadori, the original one in the game. We're just going over the characters currently in global. I'm not going over any of the JP characters. You want to upgrade his deadly first, his skill 3 second, and his skill 1/3, right? Makes sense because he's a damage character, so give his highest damage skill priority number 1, second highest damage skill priority number 2, third highest damage skill priority number 3. That's kind of how it works for all damage characters. For Megumi, it goes deadly skill, skill 3, skill 2, skill 1. For Nobara Kugisaki, her deadly skill, once again, the highest damage skill that she has, then her skill 3, her second highest damage, her skill 2, which is her buff, so she'll buff herself, and then her skill 1. That's the order that you want to upgrade things in for her. And then for Maki, you would go for the deadly, then skill 2. For Toge Inumaki, you would go for deadly, skill 2, skill 1, skill 3. For Panda, you would go for deadly, skill 3, and skill 1. And if you guys need to see any of these, feel free to pause the video. That way you can look at it for when you're building your characters. For oh my gosh, what is his name? Toto. Why do I space names all the time? For Toto, it's his deadly, his skill 3, his skill 1, and his skill 2. For Gojo, you want to do his deadly, then his skill 3, then his skill 2. Specifically his skill 3 before his other skills, because you want him to actually buff himself and buff his own damage. And then for Nanami, you want to go for his deadly, his skill 3, his skill 1. For Jugo and Hanami, who are the last 2 characters currently available on global for SSR characters, you want to go for the deadly, the skill 3, and the skill 2, and then the deadly, the skill 3, and the skill 1. Now, as for SR characters, let's talk about those. The only 3 SR characters I particularly care about for upgrade order for auto that you're going to be using in auto are realistically these 3 characters. Mechamaru you might use because he has AoEs, and because of those AoEs he'd be good for clearing like multi-target auto battles, so that's where he would come in handy. So you'll upgrade his deadly first, his skill 2, and then his skill 1. For Nanami, you'll upgrade his deadly first, then his skill 2, which is his buff skill, then skill 3. And for Yaga, his deadly first, then skill 2, then skill 1. That is the upgrade priority for auto. And last but not least, we have one rare to talk about. So the last rare that I want to talk about is Kaido. You want to upgrade his deadly, then his skill 3, which is really, really good. To this day, still highly rated character on JP. This guy gives you back your cursed energy, allowing you to use your skills more often. This is invaluable in auto mode. Like, this is still one of the best skills. So definitely, if you're able, this is the investment order for this rare character. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit when building your characters. Hopefully you stuck around till the end of the video, because this is so crucial and people don't realize that on global, because they launched the global edition without auto mode working the way it works on JP. But I guess it makes sense. They're not giving us too many advantages. It's weird to me because they did all these other updates to the game, you know, on launch for global, doing it right for global, but they just didn't do the auto mode. So a lot of you guys probably don't miss it. A lot of you guys probably didn't even realize this because you're new to global. But yeah, that future will be changing in the coming days of the game, so make sure you guys are building your characters correctly in anticipation for that future. That way you are able to maximize your auto farming and actually get the rewards you want. So hopefully this helped you guys out, and if it did, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.